John A. Wilson, Mayor. From the United States Army Corps of Engineers, Major General Kurt E. Gibbs, Deputy Chief of Engineers and Deputy Commanding General. From the Naval Support Center of Excellence, Major General Christopher G. Beck, Commanding General, and his wife Sally. Command Sergeant Major Tion D. Cummings and his wife Melody. Mr. Douglas R. Babb, Deputy to the Commanding General. Brigadier General Alexander C. Loaz, Deputy Commanding General. Chief Warrant Officer 5, Angela J. Woolwich, Command Chief Warrant Officer. From the United States Army Engineer School, Mrs. April Palmer, wife of Regimental Command Sergeant Major David D. Palmer. Chief Warrant Officer 5, Jason R. Davis, Regimental Chief Warrant Officer, and his wife Mary. From the United States Army Chemical, Biological, Radiological, and Nuclear School, Colonel Frederick B. Parker, Commandant, and his wife Donnell. Command Sergeant Major David C. Henderson, Regimental Command Sergeant Major. Chief Warrant Officer 4, Matthew Christman, Regimental Chief Warrant Officer. From the United States Army Military Police School, Colonel Robert Roda, Commandant. And a special welcome to Major General Retired Mike C. Weir. The reviewing officer for today's ceremony is the Commanding General of the Naval Support Center of Excellence in Fort Leonard Wood, Major General Christopher G. Beck. The host for today's ceremony is the Outgoing and 102nd Commandant of the United States Army Engineer School, Colonel Timothy Hudson. The incoming and 103rd Commandant of the United States Army Engineer School is Colonel Robert J. Newbauer. The United States Army Engineer School Command Sergeant Major is Command Sergeant Major David E. Palmer. The salute battery is provided by the 1st Engineer Brigade and led by Staff Sergeant Rosetta. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the invocation given by Captain Ryan Newbauer.
Good morning. I invite you to join me in a word of prayer. O gracious Heavenly Father, there are times in our lives that stand above the rest, those moments when we ride a wave of joy and excitement. As humble leaders, we must acknowledge that we stand on the shoulders of giants, of those who have gone before us, and of those without whom our own successes would not have been possible. The first giant that needs recognition is you, Lord, for without you, we have not even a single breath in our lungs, let alone the ability to ethically lead a massive organization with honor and integrity. You are the creator, the life giver, and the life sustainer, and you alone are worthy of our praise and worship. This morning I present to you, Lord, 2 engineer leaders who are full of character and virtue. One has proven himself to the regiment as a leader's leader, moving the organization in the right direction with decisiveness, humility, and compassion, ensuring that all within the regiment are cared for, trained, equipped, and prepared for whatever mission the Army gives us. Lord, for Colonel and Mrs. Hudson, grant them the best of any gifts, that of your very presence wherever they go, and for the rest of their days. And as we welcome Colonel and Mrs. Newbauer, Lord, I ask that you guide the engineer regiment in school to support them with care and consideration in helping them feel peace and calling Fort Leonard Wood their home. Lord God, you know that we are a regiment and a school filled with men and women of valor, courage, and determination, because you are the one who constructed us, who strengthens us, who fortifies us, and who fills us with the spirit to cry out, Esse Ons, be with us now and always, so that everything we do brings you honor and glory. I pray all this in the name of your Son, Christ Jesus. Amen.
Amen. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. At this time, the 1st Engineer Brigade, NCOPU, Staff Sergeant Jace Jones, is presenting Cadet Kenton Hudson, Colonel Hudson's son, with a coin acknowledging his family's support to the regiment over the past 12 months. Specialist Sawyer Williamson, a member of the 1st Engineer Brigade and the Naval Support Center of Excellence Death Squad, is now presenting Mrs. Rachel, Julian, and Sloan Newbauer with yellow roses, and Ren Newbauer with a gift in appreciation for their many efforts and contributions to the Engineer Regiment. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the playing of arms and remain standing for the national anthem. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. During colonial times and battle, the Color Party marched at the front and center of its unit as a point of reference for the unit to dress on. By leading the unit in battle, the colors became prime targets. Consequently, the Color Party bore the brunt of the battle. The presence of the national colors at the center of the formation illustrates their unifying influence in the heat of the battle. As with the Corps of Engineers, the Engineer School traces its roots to the American Revolution. General Headquarters Orders, Valley Forge, dated 9 June 1778, read, 3 captains and 9 lieutenants are wanted to officer the company of sappers. As the Corps will be a school of engineering, it opens a prospect to such gentlemen as enter. Shortly after the publishing of the order, the school moved to the river fortifications at West Point. In 1802, Congress authorized the Corps of Engineers and constituted it at West Point as a military academy. In 1866, the Engineer School moved to Willets Point, New York, later renamed Fort Totten. In 1901, the school moved from Willets Point to Washington Barracks in Washington, D.C., and eventually became part of Fort Belvoir. It produced thousands of officers, NCOs, and enlisted engineers who saw action in World War II, Korea, and Vietnam. In 1988, the Engineer School and Center moved to Fort Leonard Wood, where we continue to train engineer soldiers, develop engineer leaders, and drive change for the Army. Carrying on the legacy and traditions of the school since the first commandant, Colonel Jonathan Williams, in 1802, today we witness the commandant's authority passed from Colonel Hudson to Colonel Newbauer. The changing of the commandants with the school colors signifies the passing of responsibility from one commandant to another. The school colors symbolize unit spirit, strength, and courage. By tradition, they are never allowed to fall in combat. Should they fall, the nearest soldier picks them up and continues to press forward, leading the way until the objective is taken. This has been the tradition of the United States Army since the Revolutionary War. Our colors will always lead the way. Now taking their places to execute the change of command are Major General Beck, Colonel Hudson, and Colonel Newbauer. The ceremony begins as Command Sergeant Major Fulmer passes the colors for the last time to Colonel Hudson. Colonel Hudson passes the colors to Major General Beck, thereby relinquishing his responsibility and authority. Major General Beck passes the colors to Colonel Newbauer, charging the new commandant with the same responsibilities and authority. By direction of the President of the United States and by order of the Secretary of the Army, Colonel Timothy Hudson relinquishes responsibility as the 102nd Commandant of the United States Army Engineer School, and Colonel Robert J. Newbauer assumes the position as the 103rd Commandant of the United States Army Engineer School, effective 31 July 2026. Colonel Newbauer returns the colors to Command Sergeant Major Fulmer, signifying the trust the Commandant places in the senior non-commissioned officer of the United States Army Engineer School. Ladies and gentlemen, Major General Christopher G. Beck, Commanding General of the Nuclear Support Center of Excellence and Fort Leonard.
Good morning, team. Welcome to today's ceremony. What a great day for a ceremony. So thank you all very much for coming. To the protocol team, to the chaplain, to everybody that put this together with the salute battery, thank you all very much. These are extremely important ceremonies, and they're always very well done. Today's a great day, and there are a lot of senior leaders, retired senior leaders, and current senior leaders present here to show how important today's ceremony is and how we are celebrating two great leaders. Before we talk a little bit about them, I'll talk about both families. Unfortunately, Brittany couldn't be here. She is toughing it out right now in Hawaii. She is suffering, although I will say, and Tim and I were talking before the ceremony, she's making tough decisions like buying cars. So yeah, life is pretty rough right now for Hawaii. This is a team sport, and you've always got to know that it is a family. And Brittany has been an incredible asset to Fort Leonard Wood. Little things like supporting our Spouse Resource Center, being part of the events that we have going. But most importantly, she was the rock of the Hudson family while Tim and the family were here. And that is what you always have to know as a soldier. When you leave the house, you have to know the house is safe and secure. And it was. And Brittany was a great teammate throughout. And so Ken, thanks for representing your family here. I do appreciate that you forgot slacks and had to wear a uniform. That's awesome. But congratulations to you on behalf of your entire family. So some of you, probably a lot of you know, but what does it mean to be a commandant? Why is it so important? It's interesting because there are a lot of commandant transitions going on right now throughout the entirety of T2COM and the Combined Arms Command. And all of the CGs throughout the COEs, we are connected on Snapchat, or I think that's what it's called. I don't really know, but whatever. But about a week ago, there was a dialogue that one of them started. He said, well, why do we do the change of commandant the way we do? And it really made me step back and think about it. And you know, the reality is, because they're not in a command billet, so it's a valid question. But when I think about what it means to be a commandant, it is an incredible opportunity, but also an incredible responsibility. So a ceremony like this is extremely fitting. Because at the end of the day, the commandant is who leads the regiment. The commandant is the focal point of the regiment. The commandant, right, wrong, and otherwise, drives change in the regiment. And all of those things Tim Hudson has done. I said in my remarks earlier with the award that not only is the commandant leading day to day, but they're also an informal influence. Because commandants get out, whether it's to go see training, whether it's to talk to a new class of second lieutenants, a group of captains, or what Tim and his team did about 2 weeks ago. They went up to Fort Leavenworth to talk to the next round of senior camp commanders. All of that, not only is he leading from the front, but he's also an informal leader, because every person that's listening to those words is rallying around those words for the future of the regiment, and more importantly, the future of the Army. So to say a commandant has an unbelievable opportunity, but also unbelievable responsibility is a mild understatement. So when you think about those requirements, and then you think about Tim Hudson, he was absolutely the right person. So I didn't know Tim when he got here. I had some mutual friends. We kind of crossed paths a little bit in previous jobs, but at the end of the day, I didn't know him. We had a great sit-down discussion. I always think they're great. The incoming commandants may not have the same view, but I always think they're great. You don't get to comment, either one of you. But the reality is, what Tim did so well is he empowered his team. So as the commandant, you're looked at as the expert of your regiment. And Tim knew from day one, A, he was extremely technically and tactically competent, but he also knew his limitations. And what he did was empower his team. He asked the right questions, but he never shied away from making tough decisions. And that is what unified the engineer school, and more importantly, the engineer regiment throughout the Army. Tim also looked at things that, frankly, we'd probably taken our eye off the ball on a few things for the Army. And not because we stopped looking, but because they're just challenges. You know, we talk all the time here that commandants now can make changes in weeks that it took their predecessors years to make. And Tim Hudson took that as, again, an opportunity to drive change in the engineer regiment for the good of the Army. Things like addressing readiness challenges by changing courses, functional courses, that had been in place for years and had been the same for years. And over the period of less than a month, he made dramatic changes with his team and is already having a significant impact in the Army. I could go down every one of the courses, every one of the instructions that the Army Engineer School has done and the leadership that Tim has provided. He has done that in every case. But it wasn't just the training, it wasn't just the leader development. It was looking at the future of the regiment. It was looking at being sure that all the different things that the Army needs from the engineer regiment are in place and moving the right direction. And Tim Hudson had an incredible impact on the Army and the engineer regiment during his time here. So as we kick you out of here and wish you a ton of luck as you move back to the Army Corps of Engineers and move to the Pacific Ocean Division, it is with a lot of excitement for you and the family. You better hurry up and get out there before you end up with multiple cars. But at the end of the day, Tim, I'm excited for you. I'm excited for the opportunities in front of you. And more importantly, know that this is just a stepping stone. You have an extremely bright future because of your empathetic leadership, because of the way that you approach every problem, every challenge, and you all see them as opportunities. Your leadership is what's going to make a difference and continue to make a difference for our Army. So know that as you depart here, you have made a significant impact on the entire center, the Army, and most importantly, the regiment. So thank you very much. Now let me shift over to the Newbauer family. And again, I want to start with Rachel. So I have known these guys for a long time. Now, kids were a whole lot smaller the last time I saw them. But the reality is, again, a great family, a great support. And while Rachel won't be able to be out here right away, she's taking care of the family, and she's doing what they need to do back in Omaha as they have one heading in to be a senior in high school, and as you can tell, lots of activities going on every single day. So while you won't be here physically, we know that you are taking care of the entire family, and we really appreciate everything that you're going to do for the team. And then I look at Rob Newbauer, and he's had the misfortune of working with me before, but I can tell you that there is no better leader to step in behind Tim Hudson to keep the momentum and take it to the next level. He has broad experiences in both the Army Corps of Engineers and the tactical side with Battalion Command of the 40th Engineers, where he started driving change for the regiment at that point. So I am excited with his leadership and his guidance and the team around him to see what he brings to the engineer regiment, because I know it's going to be powerful. He will continue what Colonel Tim Hudson has started and done an extremely great job with. So Rob, I'm excited for you. I'm excited for the entire family, and know that you're going to do great things. So again, thank you all for coming out today. Thank you for celebrating two great leaders. Thank you for celebrating what the center, the regiment, or excuse me, the engineer school and the regiment have done and continue to do for our Army. This is exciting. This is very exciting times. And we've got two great leaders, one going out and one coming in, that are going to continue that momentum. So team, thanks for coming out today. Victory starts here. Be all you can be.
Ladies and gentlemen, the 102nd Commandant of the United States Army Engineer School, Colonel Timothy Hudson.
Major General Mrs. Beck, Command Sergeant Cummings, Mayor Wilson, Mayor Breckenridge. Thank you, gentlemen, for what you do for me for service here. Major General Gibbs, Major General Retired Weir, Major General Lopez, Mr. Babb, Chief Woolwich, fellow commandants and CSNs, Mr. Babb, distinguished guests, leaders, families, and friends of the regiment, good morning, and thank you for attending. Sergeant Major Palmer and I think we're 0-2, probably more than that when it comes to outdoor events. He's pretty hard-headed and waits till the last second and really wants to do the events outdoors. We appreciate the team being flexible and making the last-minute adjustment to bring us all in here. I'm gonna try to make most of this speech without using my notes. Somehow, General Beck, I watch him do it like day after day. He never looks down at his notes. Remarkable. I'm still not there, my reference my notes, but I just wanted to share a few things from the heart here. So last June, shortly after I had taken over as commandant, we had an Army birthday run over on the field, and I was still in the hotel, and it had been quite a few years, about 6 years since I'd been at an installation with soldiers and the energy that comes with soldiers. And just because it was a very early morning run, and the sergeant major's backing up the 15 minutes to 15 minutes, I decided I'm just going to walk there from the hotel rather than try to get over there and find parking. And so it was early, and it was a misty morning. Like the Missouri, you kind of get this mist fog. And I was walking over from the hotel to Gammon Field, and I heard formations of soldiers coming from every direction. This is an awesome thing. This is an awesome thing to be a part of here at Fort Leonard. I didn't realize how much my heart had missed just being around soldiers and officers. I was really excited to be joining the team over a year ago. And then yesterday morning, I'm back in the hotel, so we're out of our house, and we finished up at the gym. We just had Specker Gym, and so I was going to jog back to the hotel, but I was actually a little bit worn out. Sergeant Ship was just to work over there. I think it was the burpees. And so I decided I'm just going to walk back to the hotel instead of jog. And I was walking back to the hotel and kind of reflecting too. The sun started to peek over. And it was yesterday morning. It was a big, bright reddish orange sun coming over the hills and the trees here at Fort Leonard. And it's really actually, topology actually is really pretty here. And so the sun's coming up, and I just thought, how many soldiers have come through this installation, converting from civilian to putting the uniform on for the first time, raising their hand and saying, I'm going to serve my country. And that's a special thing too. So I was grateful. Katie, why'd you give me, where's Katie at? Katie gave me a tissue. I was like, Katie, I don't need a tissue. I don't need one, right? So, but what a special thing to be a part of this here at Fort Leonard. And so some of those soldiers go on and do a whole career, so I'm just part of the time. I appreciate that, however it goes. And it reminded me of a verse as well. So Psalms 113:3 says, from the rising of the sun to the going down the same, the name of the Lord is to be praised. And so I just want to thank God for his faithfulness to our family and for the opportunity to serve here at Fort Leonard with the Indian School team. Major General Beck. So I'm still thinking about General Beck Snapchatting. Like I'm still trying to get into my opinion of him a little bit, like the other COE commanders as well. And frankly, the entire mystical leadership team and Command Sergeant Charles Bob and Cummings, and the deputies, and the other commandants. It's truly been an honor to be a part of this team, and I appreciate, sir, your guidance is always so clear, your vision is clear. You and I were talking earlier this week about all that unity of effort and getting the whole team. And so, frankly, here at Fort Leonard Wood, we're all moving together. It's bigger than just any one of the schools or the center or the hospital or the garrison. And even outside of the gates here in the community, we're all heading heading together under the mystical leadership. So appreciate that leadership. And I have a little story to represent that. I wasn't going to mention it, but then the chaplain in his prayer mentioned the word wave, so it's probably worth sharing the story. And plus, Sergeant Major told me to keep my comments short. They'll be standing out in the sun. Hey, we're not standing out in the sun, so I'm going to add this. So I made a quick trip to Hawaii last weekend, dropped the family off, signed in, got the basic necessities set up for them so they can get started there. And then headed back here. But we only have a few days together this month, so we figured we better go to the beach since we're in Hawaii. And we ended up at a beach we probably had no business at, because the waves were pretty big. And as it turns out, we weren't sure at first, but the 16-year-old and I ended up in the waves. We told the 7-year-old, you can't go in, the waves are too big. And I had never experienced waves like that before. And so I was trying to fight against them, and I ended up, I couldn't even keep my feet. I ended up tumbling, and then it was water and sand everywhere, and water in my ears, my nose, and tumbling, and finding myself more forward on the beach. And then I was watching some folks that had been there for a while, and they didn't fight the wave with those huge waves. They just kind of rode with them. Just the way of taking it around you, and it's actually much more pleasant on your body, and you don't get tumbled around. And so I thought, and General Beck has used the term force of nature before, sometimes to describe members of his family, but actually he's the force of nature. And I thought, hey, that is a force of nature, those huge waves coming in. And just reflected on the time here, like that's what we've all been riding under the leadership from the NISCO. Like you're gonna fight about, against where the direction the Army's heading, the modernization, the transformation. You're gonna get tumbled around, you end up with sand all over you, and it's gonna hurt. We all need to do it together. We need to recognize the direction that the Army, the warfare is going, and General Beck's going to help us. So thank you, sir, for leading and guiding us in that. I didn't realize coming in how small the engineer school team is. Some former commandants had talked to me and said, hey, you have a small team. I know it's a small team, but it's a great team. And the punch that they have in a small team is remarkable. So I just want to thank the Army Engineer School, the regimental team, our instructors, and our leaders up in the Department of Instruction, but then also throughout the entire installation, the 1st Engineer Brigade and their team getting after it every day, leading our soldiers and transforming them into engineer technicians and officers. And so I just want to mention a few by name. I'll start out with the Regimental Command Sergeant Major. What an NCO to be leading our regiment. He's been a great battle buddy. And he just gets things done. He just gets things done. He doesn't let anything get in the way. General Beck mentioned courses that we're changing and revamping to modernize. A lot of the energy and the guidance and wisdom behind all that was coming from the Department. Doc Howley, Colonel Ramskugler, recently retired. Chief Gaston and Chief Davis, Colonel Kunkel, Dr. Brown, Colonel Harless, Lieutenant Colonel Summer, Lieutenant Colonel Wheeler, our Deputy Assistant Commandants and their Sergeant Majors, our XOs in the mighty 1st Engineer Brigade under the leadership of Colonel Glassfell and Colonel Keyser, Commander Sergeant Major Cody, just great teammates delivering all that training to our soldiers. This team has worked with a sense of urgency, knowing that our soldiers in uniform around the world are depending on us to deliver trained soldiers and engineer capabilities they need to fight and win. And I would like everyone to know as I head out, and Rob, I'm passing this on to you, we are leading undefeated in danger ball. And Sergeant Major, I'll try to do that. He likes to win. And Dr. Brown thinks that we change the rules to make sure that we win. It could happen. It could happen on occasion. But this winning spirit, this winning idea, it's not just for the fields of friendly strife, but it's also for every day coming after your job. And I appreciate the team's effort and the desire. Hey, real quickly on my family. They'd be here this morning, but they're probably sleeping. The time zone's pretty different. We were up last night working on some things. Today's back to school day for my 16-year-old in Hawaii. And so we've got a little shorter summer, and the military kids that are here, you guys, thanks for supporting your families. This is what military kids do. Sometimes their summers get shorter because they leave one school starts at one time and one starts at another time. And then you have to be the new kid again. And I remember Ken saying, Dad, I feel like they're all sitting in the back of my head. I said, well, don't sit in the front, right? Having to be the new kid again and go through, who are my friends going to be here at sports and how's this going to work and activities. And so I just want to say thanks to my family. Brittany, the great thing about Brittany is she shares we share the same common vision and heart for our Army, for the families, for the soldiers. So she's a great partner. And like General Beck mentioned, she's our rock at home, just loving our kids well and supporting us. So thank you, Brittany. And then Kenton's here. He made the drive down yesterday from Traverse City Air Station in Michigan. That's way up on Lake Michigan, pretty high north of Michigan. Working with an air station there before he heads back to the academy. And thanks for continuing to serve our nation in uniform. And it's great to see you grow as a leader. He's been getting into endurance sports recently, and he thinks He thinks he can beat the best sappers. We'll see. We actually have a best sapper winner as a relative in our family, and so there's a little bit of competitiveness there. But we can't let CoC beat the sappers. Let me close here. Thanks for letting me just share some things there. Two last things to close. First, Rob, congrats on his assignment. You're the right guy. I'm excited for you and your family. He's got the same drive, urgency, desire to win, get after it, lots of energy. You're going to love this. It's super rewarding. It's a blessing every day. So may God bless your family and give you all wisdom as you continue to lead the regiment. Good to meet your family as well. And then lastly, last year on May 31st, when I took over as commandant, I quoted Ronald Reagan. And he has a quote about freedom is never more than like one generation away from extinction. And it's got to be fought for and protected. And I shared that quote, and I reflected, putting my comments together. That's what you all are doing here. That's what you're doing here. As the sun comes up every day here at Fort Leonard Wood, and soldiers are sweaty from the humidity of the heat here, finishing their PT. Over 86 years, it's decades and decades of soldiers becoming civilians and soldiers here. That's what you guys are doing. You're fighting for our freedom. You're protecting it. So thank you all for being part of this. I want to be part of this team. And God bless you all. Stay honest.
Now moving forward to present Colonel Hudson's last round as the 102nd Commandant of the United States Army Engineer School is Staff Sergeant Stevens. Ladies and gentlemen, the 103rd Commandant of the United States Army Engineer School, Colonel Robert J. Newbauer.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, leaders of the Engineer Regiment and leaders of our Army, hey, thanks for joining us today. So first, thank you, General Beck. Your confidence in me means more than I can say. Sir, as you recall, you hinted at when we first met at Fort Carson. You personally mentored me at Maxwell Air Force Base while you were in the Air War College and I was in the Air Command Staff College. And then you hired me to serve as your deputy while you were in command of Louisville District. So if this thing goes sideways while I'm at the helm, you got a lot of equity in this, okay? So, hey, sir, in all seriousness, you were shaping a future commandant, whether you knew it or not. And I'm certainly grateful for your leadership then and honored to serve underneath your command. Tim, hey, known you for a while, you're a great leader. And as General Beck said, the regiment certainly advanced under your leadership. Wishing you and the family well as you guys head out to take over Pacific Ocean Division. I will say, I think there's members of the team here. I was able to come here at the end of June and was fortunate to play on the Engineer Schoolhouse team in Danger Ball. And I'm not saying that Sergeant Major Palmer said this, but he picked me up in the transfer portal and he was talking to Sergeant Ship and said, you might be getting an upgrade to Newbauer here, so that remains to be seen. Hey, to my family, Rachel, Midshipman, Newbauer, Brandon, Sloan, right? We just did a change of command on Tuesday and here we are again on Friday. Thanks for your grace, your patience, your willingness to keep following me wherever the Army points. I don't take it for granted for a single day. And to every engineer, soldier, NCO, and officer, I've had the privilege of serving alongside for 26 years. From Fort Eustis to Fort Bliss, Louisville to Omaha, Iraq to Afghanistan, and on to the plains of the Missouri River. Hey, it's you guys why it's you or why I'm standing here today. You guys taught me what right looks like. And I hope that spend the next few years passing that forward. So let's talk about the mission. Tim mentioned this, General Beck mentioned this. Engineers have never been asked to do more than what they're being asked to do right now. Our Army is changing. The threats are changing, the battlefield is changing, and the engineers we send forward need to be ready, not for the last war, but for the next one. So that is the work of this organization. Doctrine, training, leader development. getting it right before the lives are on the line. So General Beck talked about this. Hey, I don't take this responsibility lightly. I'm here to ensure that every engineer who leaves this school is trained, ready, and capable of delivering for their unit and for this Army. Our motto is USAES, let us try. This school does more than try, it delivers. Thank you again. Let's get to work.
Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the playing of the Engineer Regimental March and the Army Song.
Sir, this concludes the ceremony.
Take charge of the bridge.
Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes today's